Now we recognize you.
He's more dirt in his face now.
Those of you that know the story about this hat know how important it is to me. If you don't know the story, feel free to ask me about it later. Nobody wants to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to put their feet into cold, wet neoprene socks and put those into cold, wet boots. Nobody except a Boy Scout. Nobody wants to wake up at 1:20 after having gone to bed at 10:30 to go on a hike. Nobody except a Boy Scout. Nobody wants to get up at 4. We get up early a lot. To get kicked by an animal that weighs 10 times as much as you while you're trying to feed it. Nobody except a Boy Scout. Nobody wants to put hundreds upon hundreds of hours into doing service, leading, and earning merit badges. Nobody except an Eagle Scout. Sorry, lost my place. The reason why is because a scout knows that when they put those neoprene socks on, an hour later they'll be out on the water, in the pristine silence of the early morning, when the only audible sound is the canoe cutting through the water. A scout knows that waking up at 1:20 means they'll hike 4 miles, gain 4,000 feet over the next 4 hours, a lot of fours, in one of the most difficult climbs of their life. But they do it anyways, because they know there is no sunrise like the one from the top of Mount Baldy. A scout takes the kick in the ribs, because someone has to get the horses ready for all of his fellow scouts that will be coming later that day, eager to ride. An Eagle Scout puts hundreds upon hundreds of hours in because he knows that in 10, 20, 50 years, even after his registered scout designation has long expired, he will always be an Eagle Scout. And he'll wear that badge with pride, remembering all the adventures and hard work that went into it. I've put my feet in those neoprene socks. I've climbed that mountain. I've been kicked multiple times. I put hundreds of hours in, and it's led me here to stand in front of you all today. It's been a long journey, and although it's technically speaking my journey, there have been many people that have helped me along the way. Many of them are here today. I'd like to begin by thanking my teachers, including Mrs. Niazi, who's here today. You've given me an amazing desire to learn and a great work ethic when I'm not procrastinating. You've given my friends know me as that crazy guy that somehow liked physics. Thank you for going above and beyond your role as teachers, for helping me to not just understand the concepts, but to enjoy them. I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Ronconi, who are here today. For those of you who don't know them, they're, at this point, family friends. Mr. Ronconi helped with my project, but even more importantly for me, they helped fund my project, and they funded the majority of it. So if you could all please give them a round of applause. I actually just noticed Mrs. Sater is here. I had her written in, but I didn't see her walk in, but she is here, and so she knows how much I love physics. Thank you to my faith leaders, especially Mary Mackey, Cindy Young, and Bill Mackesy. All of you are here this afternoon, and you've had an incredible impact on my faith, and I'm forever indebted to you for changing my life. I've been very fortunate to be able to do all the things I've done and adventured how I have. Oh, that's not the right line. Thank you for showing me how to live a life of faith.
Where's your glasses?
I'd like to...
The glasses are up there.
I'd like to thank God for all the blessings in my life. I've been very fortunate to be able to do all the things I've done and adventured how I have. I'd also like to thank my fellow scouts for coming along on the ride with me. You've all made it an incredible experience. There's one scout in particular I'd like to thank. Can Adam Lenare please come up? This is likely something new for our troop. I'm sort of stealing it from my dear friend Andrew Calderon's Court of Honor. This is a challenge coin. It's different for everyone on how they do it. Oh gosh, this box is impossible. But Adam here is 14, an 8th grader. He's not even in high school. He's been the SPL of our troop for 6 months. When I needed someone to help me on my project, I asked him and he said, definitely, I will be there today. On short notice, he was there. He's an incredible guy, and I know that he will be one of our future Eagle Scouts. And so I want to present you with this to remind you that you can do it and that I know that you're worthy of. I'd also like to thank my Scoutmasters who have been with me over these years and watched me grow as a Scout and a young man. The invaluable lessons and advice you've given me have shaped who I've become and still do so today. There are a few Scoutmasters I'd like to thank in particular. Can Mr. Hurd please come forward?
Watch out for that eagle.
As he said, I've known Mr. Hurd for many, many years. He's given me many rides to the shack for our meetings. We happen to live close by, and he was always kind enough to take me for a ride. I will never forget all of those evenings that we spent driving to and from the shack, talking about all the different aspects of life, and you trying to convince me to be a chemical engineer. It didn't work. But I'd like to present you with a mentor pin, because you were also a mentor for me.